ISRO didn't command any kind of respect like what today ISRO is respecting. Many people do not know, they somehow look at it politically. And but the hard truth is that we didn't have the money. At that time only 3 buildings were there. The Bishop's house was the office of the director and Kalam's office, that is we were all there, myself and this. The school building was our lab and church building was housed for other senior scientists. At that time there was only one jeep and one bus and one car, that is for the director. There were 2 governments. One is the previous Congress government and afterwards the Narendra Modi government. In between you had the Vajpayee government. But the previous government, when it started in the year 1962-63, we were only 20-23 people, very small in number. And when the first rocket was launched, I think, if I remember correct, it was November 21st of 1966, I think. That was on a borrowed rocket, that is in Nike Apache and Centaur. I think it was a Nike Apache which was launched. That is to mark the inauguration. I mean, at that time only 3 buildings were there. One is the school building, and then another one is the church, Magdalene Church, and third one is the Bishop's house. So Bishop's house was the office of the director and Kalam's office, that is we were all there, myself and this. And the school building was our lab and church building was housed for other senior scientists. So these are the only 3 buildings. We never constructed any building. At that time there was only one jeep and one bus and one car, that is for the director. Our infrastructure. So that is a very small starting. But money was not coming as you wanted it in that manner. It took years. Then you had the SLV-3. And SLV-3, I think it was in the year 1979, they had the successful flight, or first flight, I don't remember. And you see, generally, first SLV was a failure. And afterwards, SLV-3 was, second one was successful, but the ASLVs were failing. So people were mocking at us, saying that this is SLV was renamed as sea-loving vehicle, and then ASLV was always sea-loving vehicle. And ISRO didn't command any kind of respect like what today ISRO is respecting. So generally, that was the failure modes. A lot of failures were there. Naturally, the faith, it was low faith at that time. But one thing was obvious, at least from my point of view. I was struggling to make the liquid. And that struggle lasted for so many years. It was Professor Satish Dhawan who was supporting my activity. But he was helpless because he couldn't get the money what we were looking for. And I am sure about it because that he has made it beyond doubt, very clearly saying that we are not able to get this money. So, but at that time only budget available was for PSLV or part of ASLV, that is all. So I was one of the direct sufferers of the for Wanda funds. So we didn't have a building, we didn't have a minimum facilities, and we were asked to. But still I was so attached to the this one liquid, I somehow wanted to make it to work. So we tried the first 600 kg to fly. Now the 600 kg also we had, actually it is not borrowed money, it was borrowed money. It is from some other activities, somebody, my director will give some money, very fizzling sum. With that we made only 2 rockets. Normally such things, they will make some 5-6 rockets. If one fails, another one will. We made only 2, and the first one, everybody said that it is a failure, though it was a success, because it was just standing on the eye of the people because it was launched towards east. That too, the rocket, they were afraid they wanted me to launch from Sriharikota. No, Sriharikota at that time was just coming up. They had nothing. It was like original tells. No infrastructure, no facilities. We were suffering to launch it. So the first one, at least some people said it is a failure, whereas I believe it was a success. Then the second one, I was just praying God that I have to prove that it is a success. So this time I chose night and cloudless night and free, visibly you can see that, and we launched it. And it was visible for everyone to see the flames and stuff like that. So they all agreed it was a success. So the suffering you had for want of money is not small. It is really there. Then we wanted to go for 3-ton, and that too, number of rockets we were playing with us, 1 or 2. At that time only we were going for the ISRO ACP collaboration. Actually, ISRO ACP collaboration was also, if you really look at it, if we have the required funding, why should we go for that collaboration? The collaboration itself started because for want of money. So, see, many people do not know, they somehow look at it politically. But the hard truth is that we didn't have the money. At least I can tell you my project, liquid propulsion system, suffered for want of money. In spite of the fact that the chairman ISRO wanted this money to be provided, but he couldn't get the money. So that was true. But I don't blame any government or that is where I mentioned in my earlier interview somewhere that they means the government didn't have faith in ISRO at that time frame. But subsequent to that, once the PSLV was a success, and then of course when PSLV was a success, it was 93. It took a long time. And that too, even for that 9 years or something like that, 7 years, money was coming. Because without money we could not build the facility. But that is after proving your credibility. See, even the liquid propulsion, if you look at it, the Vikas engine was test fired at ACP facility. We didn't have a facility here. We test fired it and then showed to not only to the world, but also to the ISRO management and to the government that it works. But I don't know whether it is a right policy or wrong policy, but that was the fact. That is the truth.
Vistara News.